Feeling overwhelmed by the recruiting process or worried you're doing enough to help your son earn a football scholarship? Well, you're not alone. That's why I'm taking you behind the scenes for my live event to hear powerful stories from actual parents who face the same struggles, where they each share how they help their son build resilience, gain confidence, and secure college football scholarships.
Give a warm, big welcome to Richie's father. Come on out, Richie.
Thank you, gentlemen. So, we have a parent meeting twice a month. And then we have parent meetings that are every week. So the panel that we have behind us here, these are the people that sign on either every week or every other week for us. And what I'd like to do now is just to let them introduce themselves, first name, and then the year that your son is going to graduate, and then what state are you from?
Kurt, son graduates at 26 and worked around Utah/Nevada.
Yeah.
My name is Brian, and my son's a 2026 free safety, and we are from Louisiana, specifically in Great Falls.
Awesome.
My name is Leanne. I'm Cooper King's mom, and we just graduated here in May, and we're from Scottsdale, Arizona.
I'm David. This is my wife Laurel, and our son Adam is entering his senior year, 2020 class of 2025 in Arizona, Prescott.
Yeah, you are.
So, as a parent group, we want to have a great support group with you guys. And they had us from the very beginning, and they have a great story to tell. Because one of the things that we really consider, we talk a lot about football, we talk a lot about the nitty-gritty of, the intricacies of, basically getting scholarships, right? What we do in the parent group is we talk about how to support the parents, because the parents are critical in having a student get a scholarship. So during our meetings, we talk about a lot of different things. We talk about your son. Here's some of the things that we hear a lot. My son is really shy and doesn't like to talk. How are we going to go through that? And then as parents going through the process, we have that discussion. If there's an injury, if there are other issues that are happening, we want to know that we're provide really good support group for our kids. And I think everybody can agree to that. Would you agree? And we want them to be really successful. And for them to be successful, when the parents come and we have those discussions, they have a synergy within them so that we start to know each other. Everybody up here does know each other. And we shared a lot of information, whether it was, hey, I really wanted to get my kid on the field, but the coach won't let that happen. What did you do about it? Or the coach says, you were in the spring, and right now we already have everything set up. So it's going to be hard for your son to get in. What did you do about it? Did you ask, for example, how can I help my son? Like asking a coach, how can I get my son ready for the year? What are the things that have to be done? And these are the things that we talk about. And what I'd like to do now is, like to just have them share some information about, for example, the expectations. What are their expectations? What do they expect to see? How can they provide more support? If there were injuries, what did you do about that? How did you handle that? Because this is really important, because this is a synergy group that can help each other in the process. So what I'd like to do is, for example, let's start off with what were your expectations as your son was, getting into the program?
Let's see. Well, Adam is our third of 4 children, and we have a daughter who actually signed with a Division I school to run track in the middle of COVID. And that was a really eye-opening process because we learned we were working with a different kind of recruiting program that was really not helpful at all. And we realized that it was going to be on her if she wanted to get recruited. And this was over COVID, so it was really hard. And we worked through that process with her, but we were kind of in the dark, just trying to figure out how to help her. And eventually she was successful and did go to a D1 program. But as Adam came along and we were realizing that we were going to be doing this again, but in football, this is a whole different ballgame and it's so competitive, and trying to help this be his decision. That was, I think, probably maybe one of the most important things for us is we wanted him to be driving the bus and we're just there to support. And it's always kind of nice when somebody else is there to hold your kid accountable and then you could just kind of back that up too. So that's kind of what I was looking for, was somebody who would show him what to do or teach him what to do, give him the skills, and then we're there to help him execute that. And that's been so great. Like, we've seen Adam go from not really sure what to do to just really being confident and able to reach out and take the steps, do the next play. He's really made great progress, all the help that the team's given him. So I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, what Evitable said is absolutely accurate, and how we kind of came to know Next Play, and this might make Richie feel good, but advertising doesn't work. I was actually, Adam is a very accomplished wrestler, and for his entire life, he's always wanted to wrestle in college. And that was actually all through his sophomore year. And it was always wrestling 1A and football 1B. But probably, quite frankly, in his junior year of football, kind of split that on us. He kind of came to us and said, "You know what, Dad, I kind of want to play football in college, maybe instead of wrestling." I'm open to both, but I think I could start to flip one. And football kind of turned 1A and wrestling 1B. So that kind of threw us for a little bit of a loop because we're somewhat late to the game. And just by happenstance, I was going through Facebook and the Mets play came up, and I actually ordered Richie's book. I read his book; it was pretty inspiring. And so I called Richie, and he set me up with somebody to kind of ask about our true interest level. I spoke to Richie, and everything seemed to kind of fall into place. And what I was really looking for, what my expectations was a program to help us who were kind of late to the ball game. It's not, for our daughter, she told us going into her freshman year of high school, I want to hurl in college. So even though we were inexperienced, we had some time to kind of try to get through the process, but we don't really have a lot of time with that because it kind of threw us for that loop a little bit. We were kind of in the wrestling mode, and now all of a sudden we're in football mode, and he only has, half of his junior season and the senior season to get going and get interest levels from colleges. And so we were looking for a program that would really kind of walk us through the process, particularly never having done something as competitive as football before. And I have to say, it's been really, really nice. We certainly don't have the know-how to go through this program and get Adam's name out there to colleges. We certainly don't have the time. We have 3 other kids. I'm a physician. I'm at the hospital all the time, and I can't really be micromanaging Adam. And like Laurel said, we wanted a program where the onus was on Adam to do the work and where we could just provide the support. But I wanted Adam, obviously the expectation is for Adam to play college football, and we want him to do that. He wants to do that. But at the end of the day, I've always felt that, my role as a dad is to make my boys into men. And what I love about Next Play, quite frankly, is that Brian and Richie and Rich, they hold these kids accountable, and they're growing and they're learning things that even if he didn't play college football, he's learning really good skills that are going to carry him on to, you know, whatever he decides to do in life, whatever business he decides to do, whatever profession he is. It's giving him a lot of good life skills as well.
I don't know how to follow that, you guys. Everything she said, yes. Everything you said, yes. Is it ever too late? No, that question earlier, because like you, Cooper was a high-level soccer player and did decide kind of late in the game as well, but just found his community with football and his passion with it. And so, like you, I was scrolling on Facebook in my backyard and came across Richie's advertisement, and everything made sense. For me as a business person, my husband and I have a wellness center. I've been doing real estate for some years now, running companies. Everything Richie is doing makes so much sense. But his passion to help families, because that's where we were at, how do we help our child achieve his goal? And we've never been parents that step in and do things for our kids. We have let them. So if this resonates with you at all, it is working. Everything Richie is doing, the specifics that he gives and the accountability aspect is huge. Cooper was a shy kid. And I can tell you right now, we went to TCU, Texas Christian University, on a visit. And it wasn't an official visit. And we went to the game. And it was that visit when I saw my son really actually become the man that he is now. He is now 18. He's been a man here for a month or so. But at that point, his confidence came out because he said, Mom, I gotta go talk to this coach. I'm gonna go. And he darted across the university to go talk to the coach. And Richie gave him the words. He actually encouraged him and gave him the words, gave him the questions to ask, and sort of instilled some of that confidence that we knew Cooper always had, and he's always had it. But with this process, as kids, you might be a high-level athlete, and you know what you can do, but you get a little fearful, right? And you're not really sure what to do or what to say, and Richie really does help you figure that out. The support that he's given Cooper, as well as Stephen and I couldn't ask for anything better. I feel like I'm sitting up here doing a commercial for him, and I just love it all. And the expectation basically was to help my kiddo get where he needs to go or where he wants to be. And I guess the investment part, right? It's a small investment for what comes with it if you're willing to do the work. And Cooper, we knew, was willing to do the work, and he's disciplined and dedicated. That's so.
I'm gonna echo all those three, but my situation is a little bit different from most and most parents. I played very, very high Division I football. My oldest son played very, very high Division I baseball. The recruiting back, I'm 54, the recruiting world was so much different back then than it is today. And then baseball recruiting is 100 times different than what football is, from what I remember. My youngest feels like, y'all play college sports. I don't play college sports. And the fraternity of college sports is incredible. So we kept on and on and on. Mentally, he wants to be there and he's getting there. But the expectation, what I did, I went through every program. Every program. I got 21 years federal law enforcement, and I'm that guy. I need to know information, the knowledge of power, and just what you have in front of you. And I researched every single one. And again, on Facebook, I run across this tiny guy, Richie, with Ole Miss jersey on. Well, I played at Ole Miss. So there's the connection. I reached out to him on Facebook. He answered me within 3 hours. We have a great conversation. And I go to, okay, what do you have? Well, he just didn't spiel off. He said, let you talk to this person. Let you talk to this person. So he was evaluating me and my family as I was evaluating him. Tell me about your son. Tell me about this. What are his grades? What's he want to do? How passionate is he? How passionate are you? So that alone, the personal contact with Richie and his team led me to dive in further to ultimately join. He's a 26. He's a young guy. It just seems to work. I think they were saying their kids were shy. My kid was shy. Yeah. They call him Smiley because all he does is ask him a question, he smiles. So Brian has worked with him. Richie has worked with him on his weekly calls. He's become more confident. Even Brian's telling me he's becoming more confident. And I feel the same thing. If he wants it bad enough, it's not for me to do it for him. It's for him to do it for him. So I need to do something to guide him along the way. Straight, it's up to him. Parents, you want it all day long, but it's not up to you. So this was a tool for Cade to push forward and make it on his own, build some confidence in himself. Say, I did this. My brother did it on his own. My dad did it on his own. Now I'm going to do it on my own. And that's who we are. We're go-getters. We're grinders. We're hustlers. We're gamers. So that's just kind of a short story. And I want to echo what Brian said about being in the right place and all that. Honesty is the key. I'll be the first to tell you, I think one of the first few words I told Brian said, we're not SEC. We're not AAC. He's a Division II, 1 AA player at best at this point in his career. That's what I wanted to focus on. Then he started telling me about where to be, what to place, and all that. As a naturally gifted kid, he wants to reach for the stars. So he kind of came out banging, reaching for the stars a little bit, and not really getting a lot of response. And at the end of the day, we backed off of that. 4 weeks ago, he's like, man, I'm hot in NAIA school, some Division II schools. I said, okay, it lays the groundwork. And I'm just excited where he's going to be in 2 years because I know he's signed. I'm excited because of the team that's involved in him and actually care about him. And they care about me as a parent because of these parent calls. It's just, I know I go on and on. I'm a coach as well, but here's one last thing I'll say, just about expectations and where you want to be, where you want to go. At the end of the day, go where you love. You want to see the field faster? You got to do the work. You wouldn't be here if you weren't going to do the work. Go where you love. Everybody wants to play with family. Everybody wants to play with LSU. I counsel kids in the Greater New Orleans area that play football. I want to play at LSU. Well, not everybody can play at LSU. Go play at University of Louisiana Raging Cajuns and be a star from day one. And I promise you, young gentlemen, because I've been there, done that. I went from Ole Miss to Troy State. I never once looked in the stadium. When I ran out, that's fun with me. But when I played the game, I didn't have an idea if it was one person in the stadium or 100,000. It's being on the field. That's when you have the love for the game. Sitting on the bench is not where it be. The love of the game is being on the field. So yeah, you can shoot for the stars, and these guys are going to guide you. But at the end of the day, it's being on the field and go where you love.
Thanks for what you all said. You asked the question was, what were my expectations going in? And my expectations were that my son was going to play college football on a scholarship. I met with Richie for a few minutes. I heard his vision, and I knew his story. And it was evident to me that if my son was willing to put in the work, if he was committed to excellence, if he was going to take responsibility for his own life, that he would end up with a college scholarship. Where that ends up, we don't know. And then Brian came on later, and we just can't say enough good about these guys. This has become a commercial for Expo, which it should be. And really, you know, we went, this is our second go-round. Our daughter was a Division I Power 5 recruit in softball. And that was a very difficult process. We didn't know what the heck to do. And we probably made a lot of mistakes along the way. So my expectations after I with Richie were that all of that stuff from the past of trying to help a previous child get into a Division I softball program, that all of those challenges would be mitigated instantly. And maybe that's setting a really high standard for somebody, but that's what I expected from Richie. His story is that. And I think that Richie embraced that. I think he embodies that. And so when I met face to face with somebody, eyeball to eyeball with somebody who had higher expectations than I did for his program, it was evident that we were on the right track. And so when it comes back to expectations, is that all of the things that I did wrong with my 16-year-old, 17-year-old daughter at the time, who was being recruited by Power 5 conferences, that was gone. And I can gladly say that I've been pleasantly overwhelmed by how much more we've got than what my expectations were.
Awesome. How about a round of applause for these parents? Great job, guys. I got some more questions for you, too. I'd like to explain one of the things that we do on the call. During our it's co-led by Brian and myself. Brian is the football guy. Parents want to ask specific questions about their kids. And here's the thing, Brian knows all the kids and really can give great feedback. And you know, those guys are available all the time also. So when we have, a discussion with some of the parents, the synergy is that the parents speak to each other. They hear things, they guide each other. And I think that's one of the important things. So when Brian's talking about straight football, I'm talking about anecdotal information, like stories of how I handled some things with Richie, discussions that we had, and some of the issues that when they go to college, for example, there's a lot of ups and downs going to college too. So part of the things that we spoke about was how to get through that, who you are, always remember who you are, how you got there. And I would say, look, Richie would be down. I'd say, look, man, you are Richie Contartesi. You've worked as hard as possible. You have done all of the exercise that was required. You put in all the hard work. I can tell you, I remember clocking him at his school's track at night when there was hardly any light, and he wanted to get better, get more speed. So the thing was, having that relationship with your kids is critical. It is dire important because you know what? That road is long and it's not easy. And there's a lot of trials and tribulations as you go through that whole process. So, I think when we talk about those kind of things, I'll tell you one quick story, okay? So we get into, kind of a rhythm in our parenting. And one thing triggers another and triggers another. So I'll tell you one quick story. Tony Fine was a great linebacker at Ole Miss. And he was picked up in the draft by the Baltimore Ravens. And unfortunately, Tony passed away. So when we talk about tenacity and those things, they had a drill, and I believe it's called the Oklahoma drill or something like that. But it's like two battering rams, hitting each other in full force. Everybody familiar with that drill? Okay, great. Well, what happened was, the first time Richie got knocked on his butt by Tony, and they're all, laughing at him and, saying, oh, this kid is so small and, he doesn't even belong here. Well, the second time, he knocked Tony Fine on his butt. So what does that tell you? It's about that tenacity. Remember who you are. Remember where you come from. Remember your family. Remember what you have done on the football field, off of the field. Have you volunteered, to make other people's lives better? Have you helped other people on your team? These are the kind of things that really start to develop that inner strength and how you can really become, as someone said here, a man in the growth that it takes. Brian talked about Richie talked about being a salesman. Everybody sells himself every day. So this is, how to build those skills as we go through the process. So one other thing I just want to do is I want to go through one more time just about the support and the interaction that you guys have. What did you, you had something that you wanted to discuss and other people gave you feedback. Can you talk a little bit about that? I'll start down at this end with Kurt.
You talk about community here. The nice part about interacting with the Next Play team is no question is off limits, and answers are direct, and they're experienced. And when we talk about honesty, Brian talked a lot about honesty a moment ago. I've never been given a varnished answer. This is the way it really is. This is how to prepare your mind.
I hope you enjoyed some of the stories from the live event, and recently I put together a checklist of 10 steps, and I'll put a graphic on the screen now, that walk through the entire recruiting process from just trying to get exposure and getting evaluated all the way to earning a scholarship. I'll put a link in the description below where you can get that checklist absolutely free. And if you got value from this video and you'd like to see more videos just like it, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification. And if you'd like to watch a recent video where I share exactly what to do if coaches aren't responding to you, then you're gonna wanna watch the video right here.